Good morning, hello. Happy Monday, everyone. It's a cold one here in Colorado. Plus, also I've got like snow drifts, like several feet high outside the on the patio. It's pretty crazy outside. So I hope you're all staying warm. I hope you're all doing fine, unless of course you're in a more tropical area, which in this case I wish I was there. But we're here to do some programming type stuff. Yesterday we finished creating the asteroids. We're able to sort of like collide into those asteroids. The hitboxes are a little bit weird. We can maybe take a look at that later. I'm thinking for right now we can build out the an animation for like when we get destroyed. So right now what happens we hit an asteroid and we just disappear, and that's perfectly fine. But what I want to have happen is we hit the asteroid and maybe like poof, a bunch of like little particles come out. It doesn't have to be like a big giant particle generator or anything like that. I'm thinking of just adding like 15 or so, and then they go off. Now it would be nice if they go off in a circle, maybe like something like that. But also if they just go off in random directions, like that could be interesting too. Or if they get destroyed and like continue moving in the direction that they were going, that could be interesting, sort of like slightly random but still in the same direction. That could be a lot of fun too. So how do I want to do that? Right now we know exactly when the player has been hit. That's happening in collide with asteroids. So when this happens, we're gonna want to probably do some kind of like mark that, okay, we've been hit by an asteroid, the player's been destroyed. We now need to create all of these, like the debris, and insert that into the world. Inserting into the world does require it does require mutable access to the world. So that's something to be aware of. And that, I guess, like the big thing with that is that means we're not going to be able to do that inside of here, because during this while loop we have to pass in just a reference to the world always. So we may need something outside of this loop that's running that will listen for like when that event happens, and then go poof. And we can use a resource for that event as like just a Boolean flag as our sort of like event system. It is something I'm thinking for like the next game. I want to like really play around with event systems and how I can really work with it with the ECS library, because I think that will like be the next level up if I really like am very cognizant of how I want to implement them together. But all right, so if we have the ship has been destroyed, if we add this in as a resource, for example, if we add this in as a Boolean resource, let's actually go to names. We could actually, it's right here. Ship destroyed. And our data can be a Boolean. What do we want to do for it? I guess it could just be like a false to begin with. and we're going to make that a true later. So then here in collide with asteroids. Okay, so we have this world delete entity by index. So we also need to grab out wrapped destroyed. We're going to want you to be mutable. So that we can borrow you mutably. And then we'll grab you out here. And you're going to be a mutable reference to a Boolean. So we get you out, so we have a mutable reference to a... Oh, I put the mute on the wrong one. Because sizes, we don't need you to be mutable, we need you to be mutable. Okay, so we get ship destroyed. We know that it's a reference to a Boolean. Here we can say, okay, world the entity by index. We can now ship destroyed is equal to true. So we mark that as true now, which means we can come back out here and we're gonna have to have another system that's gonna run outside of this while loop. So it's gonna have to run a lot faster. But that's the only way I can think of that's gonna allow us to deal with this. Zilby, you wanna hang out? You can hang out with us. We want all the pets. Oh, and very loud purring today. Oh, I need to. So yeah, if we're able to set the like get that somewhere in this update, perhaps. Ooh, you know what I could do? I could just handle all that stuff here. We can grab if we were destroyed here. Or we can just create a system and run it outside of this while loop. That might be best. You can put it down below or above. I don't think it really matters too much. All right, you done being pet? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna have a system for... Oh, I forgot. We need to bring you in. All right, so we've got you. Let's head back to here. Okay, so we need a system for spawning and creating the debris from the ship. And would that really be a system? It might be. So like create debris. How do you spell debris? I don't even know where to start. Oh, IS, like that. Okay. No? Oh, yes. Okay. Debris. Debris is how you spell it. So DBEBRIS. And I might be able to do, I wonder if I can do the same thing for when I destroy the asteroids too. That might be interesting. Create debris. I wonder, I might want 2 of these, like one for ship debris, one for asteroid debris. That might also be interesting. But okay, let's do this. Create. Let's have this be. Let's have this be for like a specific one, because that way we can change them later if we need to. So we can have this be like ship debris. We know we're going to take in the world. So in this case, we need a mutable reference to the world. I'm going to go ahead and change this now. So rename you to create ship debris. All right, so for taking in the world, then all we need is, well, okay, we know when to create the ship debris if the player is dead, right? If so, and then we know we got that from the resource here, ship destroyed. So let's first grab that out. And this needs to be mutable because we're going to switch it to be false if it's true. That way it's true just for like 1 frame. We add this, we all little debris in there, and then we're good to go. So wrapped. Then we want to borrow mute. Okay, then we cast it. So now we have a mutable reference to the ship destroyed. So we can do an if on it. So if the ship is destroyed, we can actually probably do an early return, right? If otherwise. So if not ship destroyed, then we're gonna return just an okay like that. And we're good to go. Now we can do the rest of it down here, and we have this sort of guard clause. Once we have that, then I want to create. So there's going to be like meshes that we need to create. That'll be interesting. We need to insert that into the world. And we need to give it like all the fun stuff. We could create that here in helpers. We have like create asteroid, player ship. We could have like a create debris in here, and that could be a mesh for each little dot. That could be reused several different times because we give it location and velocity. That might be right. Yeah, because these are meshes. And in the main library, yeah, this is where we're actually doing the spawn entity, and this is what we care about the most right now. Is creating something like this. So, location. If we're doing the location, let's go ahead and just grab this. Okay, so we need the location of the player ship. I don't need to own it. I can just borrow it. Okay, and then we can cast that. So now we have the locations. We need the index of the player. Get player index. We pass it in a reference to the world. We can do that. Oh, and that's an if. Oh, this is going to be interesting because the player's destroyed. That means down here in this update, we need to make sure this is as late as possible. So we can run this after it's been destroyed, but before the update happens. Oh, you found a spider. Hold on. I need to take care of a spider for Zilby. Come on, Zilby. I was too late. Zilby pulverized the spider. Couldn't get him. It was a tan spider on the tan carpet, and it was just walking around. Not the best idea to walk around right next to a cat. Found him quickly, and now Zilby is just interested in the carpet in general. Wants to see if there's more toys. All right, so what are we doing? So we get the player index out of here. It's gonna have to be an option. So they're gonna have to say, spiders aren't known for their forward life planning. I guess that's true. Like, they have those webs, so they're good at like web development. But I suppose they need to learn some like, they need to continue their skill growth, not just like work on that one web dev skill. Also, good morning, Utsby, and good morning, Honest Mistake. Okay, so this is gonna have to be if let some player index is equal to, we're just gonna grab you out here. Then all of you can happen inside of here. And in a way, we don't even have to get the player index if the ship's not destroyed. So you can happen up here. All right, so we grab the player index out. If we find the player index, we have the locations. In fact, if ship destroyed, wrapped locations, you both can now come down here. So this means now we can we can actually copy this from here. So we can do locations, the player index, and I think we can just clone. I want to say that point. Yeah, okay. It would be telling me if we could clone it. All right, what's your upset? No method named with component found for mutable reference world in the current scope. Oh, I need to pull in those methods. Okay, so I'll make you happy. Yeah, it's not upset about this. Rotation, right now we probably want to set this to be exactly the same as the player rotation, so we need to grab all of this fun stuff out. We can just do this. That. Actually, do we care about the rotation? Probably not. Let's just leave that as 0, 0. Okay. Velocity. We do want to give this a velocity. I would love to give it like the velocity of the ship. Maybe for right now, we can just have this be as minimal as possible, and then we'll like have it move. So acceleration, we have none there. Okay, mesh. We have to create a mesh for the... Oh, that's gonna be interesting. We have to create a mesh for this entity. We're probably gonna spawn like a whole bunch of these then. Like one for each as they sort of go off. So I'm thinking create debris mesh. Oh, right. I can't even think of doing this until I mod it. Okay, so if we have the context, I don't know what else we specifically need out of this. Maybe a size of the mesh. However, it's not going to be that big of a deal with the sizes. It's not going to have any colliding properties. We can just game result U. Oh, we have the game result, return a mesh. All right. How do we want to do this? Probably a mesh builder. We'll probably create it as a circle. Point, you're going to be a mint 0.2. Radius, let's have you be like 2.0 and sort of see how that feels. Okay, so if we do this, this allows us, oh, we need to pull in mesh. We can now, see, what are you upset about? We need to pull you in too. Now we can come back to here. We can use that function to sort of create the mesh that goes here. So this is going to be create debris mesh. We need to hand it a context, that's true. And we need to unwrap you to grab the mesh itself. Okay. Which means we need the context in here. Okay, so that will give us the mesh, the marker. So it's not going to move. It's just basically going to destroy and just sit there as a dot. We want to see that that works. Okay, so the marker, entity types. This is going to be debris. And then our size, like whatever the size this is going to be. I don't think this matters too much, but we can just say that you're 2.0. Perhaps we can have like different size debris. I don't know. And if we do that, what are you upset about? Cannot borrow world as mutable because it's also borrowed as immutable. Right. Okay. So if we have these wrapped locations, we have to drop the wrapped locations here. And that means that I have to do this clone up above this. Create ship debris on line 14. Oh, the wrapped. Okay. We have to drop you too. Let's see, on line 19 is later used, right, okay. So we have to clone you out for ship destroyed. Can I just clone you here? Like that? Which would then just become a Boolean? Or do I have to do that in 2 steps? Okay, yeah, I need to do this in 2 steps. So basically we can do that ship destroyed equals ship destroyed dot clone, like that. Oh, and it has to be that. I wonder if you're gonna copy it. That might work. Type bool cannot be dereferenced. Fine, we'll just clone you. I could turn on kitty cat cam. Sort of. He's facing away, but he's in his bed. All right, so oh, right, because that's gonna be a problem as I need to have access to this here. So hold on, let me undo a bunch of what I did. If I don't do that, we're just doing the good old mutable reference to a bool here. If ship destroyed, right, yes. We're having some fun between like the query and the locations. So what do I need to do? In order to spawn this, not borrowed world is mutable because it's also borrowed as immutable. Mutable borrow occurs here, which doesn't show me where that exactly is. Okay, so immutable borrow occurs at 14, which is right here. Then another immutable borrow might be used here when wrapped ship is dropped and runs the destructor for type mute resource. Okay, so create ship debris on line 37. Okay, let me actually run this and get the compiler message here because I think it might be a little bit more helpful. Yeah, okay, so wrapped ship destroyed. It's the one that's worried about. So that immutable borrow occurs here. And mutable borrow. So that's immutable borrow occurs here. Right, because get resource is always immutable. That's just an unfortunate side effect of how it works with like the RC and interior mutability. So what I can do is if the ship is not destroyed, we're just returning. But otherwise, like if we move on to here, we can do our Boolean update. So we can then say ship destroyed is now equal to false. We can flip that flag and then we can drop, like at this point in time, we can drop both. In fact, would it be helpful for me to just put this in a block here? then that drops here. Now what? Locations is going to be next, right? When wrapped locations is dropped. So exactly the same thing here. And I wonder, can I do the same thing? We can maybe like get the player location in a function. Yeah, we can get the player location in a function probably. And then we can drop it. So here we have this cast. We can even do let the location of this, so this would be the debris location. So locations of player index. We're going to clone you. That gives us at this point, which means immediately after this, we can now drop the wrapped locations. And I think I also have to drop the locations. Cannot move out of wrapped locations because it's borrowed. Let's do this in reverse order like that. Drop the, oh no, that doesn't like that either. Cannot move out of wrapped locations because it is borrowed. Move out of wrapped. Hold on. Okay, so borrow wrapped location occurs here. So locations equals wrapped locations dot cast. Okay, that's understandable. Borrow wrapped locations occurs here. Move out of wrapped locations occurs here. So drop wrapped locations. Now I was trying to do like locations first and then drop the wrapped locations. That may not. So what can I do to make you happy? So I can't manually drop you at this point. And we would have this debris location. We would grab you out. So we don't even need you anymore. You're done at this point. Can I throw you in a function and have you like just drop after that? Maybe that could work. So function get get debris location. We would be taking in the world, which would be just a reference to the world. Doesn't have to be the full thing. And that's, oh, and the player index. And that's pretty much it. And we're going to return a result with a point inside. And we can own that point too. So if we do that, then we're going to have these two things in here. So we grab you. And then we're going to return locations of player index and clone you. Okay, so that makes you happy up there. Oh, and you need to be wrapped in it. Okay. Did I forget? I still had this one as the previous one. That's why it was yelling at me, I think. Just not as awesome. But this will make it a little bit easier. So you implement copy. Huh, you implement copy. Nice. All right. Get to pre-location. Right, okay. So I need to use this entire function before it, notes that this function is being used. Okay. Let's see. Create to pre. Let's see. So that's our location. So we have that there. We have a rotation. We have no velocity. We have an acceleration, which is nothing. We have a create debris mesh. Hand it in context. Unwrap that. Marker. We have the debris and then size. Okay, so I think we're about ready to then create this. So in our main library, we're gonna have this create ship debris, and we're gonna do this outside of the while loop, but above this world update. So create ship debris system. Pass it in a mutable reference to self.world and pass in the context, unwrap this, and we're good to go. Cannot borrow. Oh man, cannot borrow is okay. So 165. Oh, wrapped. Wait, do I have to drop? Wrap update FPS here. But I can't do that because update FPS. Okay, so then we can shadow update FPS is equal to update FPS dot clone. And then we can do that. Then I want to dereference you, and that will clone you. Oh, you know what? I bet we could have done that with the other mutable. So now I bet we can move you back in here. I didn't need to do the entire fun wrapping the all of that stuff we did yesterday. I didn't need to do that because I didn't actually read the error messages properly. Oh, that's fun. But it's probably not a bad thing to have that wrapped in case we need to like pass it around multiple times. Although that is mostly me just justifying it to myself. Okay, so then reading the error messages, who does that? I don't know. Sounds like something a professional would do. Good morning, Peyton Rules. Okay, so if I run this now and we get destroyed, we're looking for a little dot to show up where the ship was after it gets destroyed. Okay, that is a thing. Many dots. It doesn't. Okay, that's interesting. Hold on. If I just don't have this create debris ship system, self-world update is still happening. Yeah, you're okay. It disappears like that. The ship actually disappears. What's going on there? Why isn't the ship disappearing with this active? Like, what's going on there? Inside our crate ship system, we're trying to get if it's destroyed. So is the ship destroyed? If the ship destroyed is false, return okay. So if it's not true, and then here we're setting it to be false, so that the next time we're going through, it hits that. Then we just get this. Okay, get this and then add it to the ship's location. And then that should get removed immediately in here and in update. So it gets deleted here in collide with asteroids. So as a I'm wondering, like, if I do it in this order, we shouldn't see any of those streaks. At least I would think so. Yeah, okay. That worked as expected. And so if I move you up one, the ship never dies. Why does this ship debris system make it so that the world never ends? It's not what the world ends, but how is it not destroying the ship? Is it just this? Is it just spawning these dots? It's marker type, entity type, debris. Okay. I'm not doing anything else to sort of make it think that it's a ship, as far as I can tell. Okay, so if I do that, the player ship should still be destroyed, right? Okay, it does. So this spawn entity is somehow keeping the ship alive. So we have our debris location, which is a clone. I would assume that it is. It's cloning out, I believe, because it's copying. Like, if I explicitly clone this, even though it's going to yell at me that I shouldn't need to, I don't think that will affect it, but yeah, okay. So that caused the same problem there. So that's not the issue. All right, let's see Let's take a look at what warning do we have? Unused import. Create debris mesh. Why? Wait, I'm not using that import. Create debris mesh right here. Oh, that's weird. It's brought in twice. I don't think that could be causing it. Yeah, that definitely is not causing it, but that was a little bit odd that it decided to bring in those twice. Okay, so let's take a look through here. If I just spawn something, let's just try to spawn something and like using our own stuff. So if we create like a point new, and I just do something like 50.0, 50.0. No rotation, no velocity. It's like new for that. We creating the debris mesh context. Okay, so that's completely separate. Also, entity types debris. Okay, that's very different too. And then size. So if I do that, so there's a dot that got created, but the player is not getting destroyed. But it's creating that dot multiple times. So what is going on here? Like if I move this after the update, that should also not work, right? Because now it won't be able to get, yeah, we don't get the debris system. It can't find the player anymore. Okay, so workarounds for this. I could make the ship debris system happen. So I could store away the location, like the last known location of the player here with in the collide with asteroids system. So if I collide with the asteroids here and we mark you as destroyed, and we also store away the last known player location in a system, that feels a little bit odd. But we can totally do it. If we head over to names, we can have like a player location, or maybe just to make it really explicit, we could have like a last known player location. I kind of want, just to make things a little bit simpler, I feel like we should do the same thing we do with the entity types, is bring this derive in. add that into names here. If we do that, then we don't need this at all. We can just get rid of you. That will give us, oh, lovely, 76 errors, but we can just put a toString on everything. And that'll be very happy then. So names marker, wherever we have like a names. Well, besides that, we can then do a toString. The trait bound string to convert from names is not. Okay, so it's the same thing here. Okay, so all of these names, except that one. Can I get rid of you? Okay, so then we're gonna move over here and do a toString like that. Hit save. All right, now just the systems. No more errors. Okay, so that was a nice okay, so to be location. So then you should be all fine here. So I'm gonna put you back because that didn't really seem to do anything. So relocations, that will make you used again. All right, and now this is cleaned up and we can just add to it. We don't have to do that silly second thing. So head back to the main library. We're going to register a new resource. So world.add resource names, the last known player location, with this being a point new, and we can just add in zeros for this. When the asteroid gets destroyed, toString. We do have to remember to do a toString. Is that true? I feel that we could make this a lot easier on ourselves if I just update to take a string. But all right, so we could just toString that. That's fine. Then, okay, so what do I want to do here? We want to, when we get hit by an asteroid, so collide with asteroids, we're going to update the last known position. And, okay, so we want to do that as close to here as possible. So here we've gotten, we've hit the asteroid. We delete entity by index. Okay, so we can then do let wrapped last known position is equal to the world dot get resource. Okay, so toString question mark and I'm gonna borrow mute that. You need to be mutable. So that way I can do last known position. It's going to be a mutable reference to a point. Going to cast mute you. Then after we ship destroyed, we have the player location here. We have the player location here. We can now store in the player location, so we can clone this. So player location is that. That's already cloned. We want to then do a dereferenced last known position is equal to the player location. All right, so problem. Wait, do you not return a result? Get resource does return a result. Yeah, you return a result right here. I don't know what you're talking about. And you return the right type of result too. If I do that, yeah, you're a result, and then you're unhappy. Like if I unwrap you, you're more happy. Okay. Then here. Oh, in a closure. Oh, because the closure doesn't return a result. I see. Wait, so can I do this? Instead of unwrap, I'm gonna question mark you, and then down here, I'm gonna question mark you. Okay, it's very unhappy with all this. Oh, if maybe missing an else clause. Oh, okay. So the block. Else. Okay, so do I have to? Okay, now what? All right, so closure returns. So this is okay. This is an if statement, a big giant if statement. I want you to just handle this stuff. If there's an error, I want you to like return that out, but you're not returning anything at all, and then returning this okay out of here. But that, oh, because it's this for each. Oh, because I can't do this unless I do a try for each. And I think we ran into fun problems when we try to do that. So we do have to do unwraps here until I figure out how to do a try for each nicer in this sort of like situation. Okay, so if I do that, let's run this and see. Oh wait, we could run it, but nothing's gonna change really. Yeah, nothing crashes. That's a good thing. Let's head. Okay, so we've updated the last known position, which means now in our crate debris, not crate debris mesh, but in our crate ship debris, we now need to grab that last known position out of here. So instead of querying for the player here, we're going to get resource. So this is going to be get resource, names is the last known player location. We toString that, we borrow you, we locations, we get. It's not going to be a vector of a point, it's just a reference to a point. We cast you, and then we return. I mean, at this point, we can just return location. Oh, okay, location. That. And you need to be destructured. We don't need this player index anymore. So if we do that, we're now only doing this in just to find the player index. So we don't even need this anymore. Okay, so we can get rid of you. Which means we don't need you. That's nice. Okay, let's see if we get a little dot wherever we fell, wherever we get destroyed. Finally, okay, we get the dot. So yeah, getting the location of the player was causing issues, and I don't really fully understand why. What this means to me is if I was to try, like, I would need to do the exact same thing for the velocity too, if I wanted to, like, to get this all out, which is not great. But we can give this like a random velocity. So what would this be? This would be like random F32 times, let's say, like 2.0. If that's between now 0 and 2, we can minus half of that. If I do that for both of these, let's actually just create this as a function. Function, you know what? I should really create this as a helper. We're doing this enough. So like, random F32. Actually, let me rename you. You can be just random number. And then we can create like a bunch of these in here. So inside of random number, we can get like random F32. We can even do generics for this. That would potentially work too. I kind of like that idea. So if I do something like pub function random, although like right now we only need F32s as random, so maybe I'll wait until then. So if we do random, and then we have like the minimum would be an F32 and the max would be an F32. And we want to turn an F32. Then, okay, so we would generate the random number. So I don't want to call it self. Okay, so the initial random number would be random, and then we'd multiply by max. And then, oh, we can just do gen range also, if I want the minimum. But if I want the minimum to be that, let's see, how can I do that? If I want it between like -2 and 2, I can do 0 to 4. And then subtract. If I want like 0 through 4, I can just multiply by 4 and subtract by nothing. We're fine. If we want between 2 and 4, I can multiply by 4 and no, I don't want to multiply by 4. Then I have to add. Oh, then I have to add. Okay, let's because I want like an equal range. Either that, or I could just do the thread range thing. Generating this every time I want a random number isn't the best. I mean, I could pass around like rand RNG and then gen range that way. That actually might be the best way to do this, is instead of this random numbers here, let's just not do that. I don't think it's necessary. In our main game, let's store rand. So random is going to be a thread range. And so we could have random is going to be a thread range new. Thread range, oh, that. We do thread range like that. Now in create ship debris, if I want this random out here, we can pull in RNG, which is going to be a mutable reference to a thread range. like that. Now I can do for this. We don't want it in. Let's see, where was it doing this? I don't actually need it in the velocity, although it's perfectly fine to throw it in there. It might be best to like just give it a little bit of a. Let's see, new 0. Okay, so make you happy there. In acceleration here, we can now do RNG dot gen range. And now we can say something like negative 2.0 to 2.0. RNG dot gen range in negative 2.0 and 2.0. Now you need type. You need to know what type it is, right? Oh, expected 1 argument, found 2. Oh, okay. Gen range. Oh, it's different. They updated it. It's not like that anymore. So now it's negative 2 to 2 like that. Interesting. Okay. So if I do that, we have some errors. We need to also pass in a mutable reference to self.rng. Okay. Let's go ahead and run this and see if that one little dot moves off. It does. Okay, it nicely moves off. Now it moves off, forever. And then what I can do is in this create ship debris, we can spawn like any number of these. So we can have a for loop. So for in 0.5, let's say. We'll create 5 of these. And we'll run you. And so now when I get destroyed, 5 of them should fly off. I like that. That looks actually really cool. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to end up ending it here. What I want to do eventually is make it so that those disappear over time. I could either have them fade away, or I could just have them like go out for a little bit and then disappear. Maybe fade away would be good, so we can have like an opacity. When it gets drawn, that might be interesting. I don't know how nice that would actually look out. We're gonna have to think about that. Maybe it just is like it goes off for a little bit of time, like 200 ticks, and then they get deleted. Countdown to, oh, I need to make a particle system begins. I know. I'm trying to avoid making like a completely unique particle system for that. And trying to keep them as like just entities. And I guess like here's a question, Utsby. Would particle systems be separate than the entity component systems? Or like are particles actually part of the entities? Or are they actually, like, is each one an entity, or are they just separate? I guess that's something I'm not really completely sure of in modern game development. Because I could have this be completely separate and we make a particle system. I also wonder if that should be like another library that we create too. And I already know that like message passing, like actually having like a true message passing system or would be really helpful as well. It would actually solve some of these problems that I'm having right now. So lots of ways to improve like my game dev skills. And like, to be honest, a lot of these things are also problems in more complex builds anyways. There's no one answer. You could have a particle system that lives in the ECS. You have, or its own separate ECS. Oh, really? I could have a separate ECS for the particles. I hadn't thought about that. And then, oh, okay, I can have like methods for like particles to create. Interesting. I wonder, I don't think Specs or Hex has an idea of particles, but I'd need to like recheck their documentation. I think what I can do though is I'm gonna stick with this for right now until we like understand exactly how we're using them. And then if we like come up with a better way of doing it, then that's when we can like switch over to doing a better way. But making these particles disappear is gonna be a next time problem. So I'll deal with that tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching this YouTube video.